Welcome back. I'm Darren. I work on 67 to 72 C10s. Why? Because I'm crazy. Can we just hang out this week? There's just so many things. I'm like, the guys might want to see that. They might want to see this. Oh, they might want to help me do that. They might enjoy this. And I got so many things that are stacked up I want to show you guys. It's not so much hard getting tour work. Let's put the front end on. Let's get the hood on today. It's not that. Let's just hang out. Can we do that? I texted a buddy the other day, same thing. Like, you want to just come hang out? And he never answered me. I thought that was kind of weird. Somebody might say they didn't get the text, but if you go back and you look back in your text, it's there. He just missed it, so no big deal. But I want to just take you around and show you a bunch of stuff that I'm doing and you might find interesting. And we just hang out. I don't know where to start, but let's get started. The first thing I was after was, since last week I'll spin you around. We were working on this front end, the grill, and we got to this grill part here. I don't know what you call it, valance. I don't know, you know me in English and names. It's like a splash guard for underneath the truck. And I thought, well, I'll just throw it on. I don't care. But I got some comments on it, some different things. So I thought I'd show you some stuff here. This is only on the 67, 68 model. I looked it over, and you could put it on like a 71, 72, or any model, actually. I think it was just to kind of keep the air forced between the grill and the radiator. And they probably found out later on that it's not necessary. It will keep from things splashing up too, but it's not a critical area. And if you're curious where it goes, I'll show you that in a minute too. But as I started putting it on, you got to remember this 68 truck was technically a basket case. Now it was assembled, kind of. It was all put together. But I spend a lot of time pawing through boxes of bolt nuts and bolts to try and find everything without going to the store and buying new. That isn't any quicker. It certainly isn't cheaper. So we'll kind of cover what happens if you ever get in that situation. I don't mind it. I enjoy working on these trucks and pawing through a bucket of old bolts to save a penny, or these days 10 cents. It's kind of fun. Not everybody enjoys it. But this pan mounts to the grill here in the front. And on the newer trucks, there's no mounting area to put that. It just doesn't line up with the newer modern grills. The back part of this bolts right to the core support. Now, although they're basically the same core supports, there's some minor differences. We won't get into that for this particular issue. This will bolt, the back part will bolt to the core support of any of the models. They're not pre-drilled. They don't have a nut welded onto them or one of these clips I'm going to show you in a minute. But you could buy a good beefy stainless steel, because you know how much I like that, a self-tapper, and you could put them in that way. It would be fine. Self-tappers aren't the answer for everything. I don't love them for everything. But if you wanted to slip one in, that would be one way. Or you could drill it out and put in the nut zerts. That would be another way to do it. But I don't think it's necessary. And I think the issue that GM found out that this part didn't really do a lot for these trucks anyway, and they just quit including it. But if you want one, buy one. I think you can make it work. Meanwhile, let's get to this one. Excuse me. So I was running my nuts and bolts through to make sure that chasing the threads, to make sure that they were in good shape. I'm going to be back at the spot. And I did mess one up. Well, they're quite, where am I going to put you? They're quite hefty clip, and I like them. I don't even know if you can buy these. I've never seen them for sale. See if I can get this where you can see it. So it's the clip style that slides onto the metal where the hole's at. You slide it on, line the hole up, and you got this one actually has a nut. Now again, I broke it, but the nut, can you see this? I mean, you can't hardly tell, but the nut has a groove in it. If you can't see it, I know my hands are in the way, but there's a groove that slides into this pre-cut spot. I don't know how they make it. Because if this piece of metal that I broke out was there, that nut won't move or come loose. So I really don't know how they stamp that to work, but that's not the point. It's a pretty incredible part. A true nut on these clips. Pretty cool. I'll see if I can buy them somewhere just for the sake of saying it. This is the replacement. I buy these online. You can get them at a local hardware store, pretty much anywhere. The metal is formed in. It's all one piece, so the likelihood of breaking it's far less. It's the same 5/16 bolt goes in here. They work really well. They do have a little more gap to them, and that little spring inside, if you can see it. I'll get you a spot where maybe you can tell. But that little barb, if you will, grabs the metal and kind of helps hold it together. So I do like these. This is what we're going to replace the one I broke with. I don't know. They're like $1.50, something. They're still in the reasonable category, but it goes on the bottom of this bumper flange, I'll call it, because the bumper lines up like right in here, and they just slide onto there's just a hole drilled right through the metal, and this just slides on that easy. I'll line it up, but they go right on there that easy. And then while I'm down here, I don't know if you guys can see, this isn't the important part of the day. Let's see how, okay, just to show you how this goes. The bolts are to the bottom, so you can work on it down here and do everything. You don't have to fish your arm down inside. So that pan, I don't know. I've never done one of these before, but it's not complicated. Simply bolts right here to the bottom. It's that easy. There's no sense in showing you 10 more bolts. I don't know how many's in it. 2, 3, 4, 6 in the front and like 6 or 7 in the back. GM used to use a lot of bolts, and that'll hold it in there good. So there's where the pan goes. It slips in that easy. Bolts into the front here, and then into the core support in that direction. I had my stuff out to show you that, but my wife tells me, start sharing your tricks with these guys so they can learn these tricks. Well, they're not sneaky tricks. They're just regular tricks. You may have seen this one before. So if you get a bolt, what I do with it? Right here. If you get a bolt and you're having a hard time getting it into a spot, and I'm going to show you a place. I just used this. You might find this handy on your truck. If you get into a spot like I've run into here, I can't put my fat hand in here any way at all. You can't come in the back to get this bolt into the fender. 5/16 bolt for the washer. I get an extension and I get a socket and I stuff the bottom of the socket full of paper towels. That way the bolt doesn't slide all the way in there and only leave me a couple of threads. This way when you slide it in there, well, I got it mashed in there too much, but basically you can hold it right near the end, giving you a lot of threads. You put this on, it doesn't matter, impact wrench, whatever, and you can fish that bolt in there a lot easier. I happen to have the extensions with the barbs on them. That's actually knurling, so you can spin it by hand and get that bolt in there. So that's how I did that one. Just one of those tricks you've probably seen. I've seen people use tape so it's a little bit sticky. You can put a piece of saran wrap or foil so it bites on harder. There's a lot of ways, but just think about filling the back of that. It'll give you more threads. There's the trick of the week. I'll try and do maybe one trick every week if I have that many. So the next thing I got to thinking was, let's put this fender on. This other fender. That'll be kind of fun, you know? Well, let's not get in too big of a hurry. Because if I put this fender on, because it'd be fun, and I could line things up better, then I'd want to put the hood on and the cowl so I could line all that up. Yeah, see, I'm getting carried away. There's a lot that needs to be done inside of here first, and I might as well do it while I can get right in here and work on things. Again, back to what I always say, timing, think about what you have to do. Don't go too far and bury yourself. Make your work way too hard when you've already got it tore apart. So let's get this bunch of stuff back together. I didn't bore you guys with putting the bolt in for the motor mount. Yeah, it's an engine, but it's not an engine mount. We've talked about that. That took me 10 minutes because it's got a lock nut on there. So it was just a click, 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 one click. You guys run into it too. Then these bolts that hold it here. And then what did I do? I forgot the bottom one. When this engine was out, I could have put the bottom bolt in super easy. Now I'm going to have to roll under the truck. I might actually need to have help. Because if I remember right, GM does a nut and a bolt, and you can't reach around to do both sides. That's my problem. That's something I forgot to do. Just you're going to do it too. Just keep it in mind. So we will work on this if we still have time in a minute. I need to put the header back on. I've looked it over. It's in fantastic shape. I guess we're here. Let's talk about putting that back on. I might as well do it while I'm talking. Stainless header. Somebody spent some money on these. They fit fantastic. I don't know what brand they are. I didn't see a name on them anywhere. I wish they did. They have a thick, very nice, heavy flange. They used a solid one-piece gasket. It's a nice header for an LS. I really wished I knew what brand it was, because any LS I have, or I do, I am going to definitely, how's this go back on? I am definitely going to want to use it. I think this has to get fished over if I remember right, it has to go over that dipstick. So I'm going to try and find out what brand it is, just because I like it so much. I would definitely use them. So here we go. I got it set there. What's the next question? Oh, we're putting these bolts in. Now, if you know LS, or you've heard of them, a lot of you guys aren't doing LSs, but these are becoming such a common swap. They're relatively easy to do. You can buy every adapter you could possibly dream of for these. But LS has a habit of breaking these bolts off in the head. Now, maybe not on the header. I don't know all those details, but I do know on the exhaust manifolds they're common. So I don't want it getting froze in there, rusted, corroded. So I'm getting ready to put some anti-sneeze on here. And I'm thinking, Darren likes the nickel because it's like chrome, which is also like stainless. But I thought, we all have phones. There's no reason that we don't just take 2 minutes and ask Google and AI, whoever, because that's a thing, what anti-seize to use. So I like copper as well. And I thought about using copper on it because that might keep it from corroding so much. So I went ahead and Googled it, I guess. And the old AI answer, it talks back to me. It's kind of neat, so I don't have to read it. So I don't always have my glasses. They changed it. It's a woman now. Whatever, it's cool. So she said, don't use copper because aluminum reacts with copper more than other things. Yeah, she used a lot better English than I did. But it suggested to use aluminum to start with. Well, of all things, aluminum anti-seize is the most common, and I don't know where mine's at. And I know I have 2 of them, one for here and one for home. But I didn't happen to see it. So I thought I'd trick the AI. I'll go back in and ask, is nickel anti-seize okay to use on aluminum and steel? And this time she came back and said nickel's actually preferred because it doesn't react as much with aluminum or the steel. So I don't really know why she didn't tell me that the first time. All right, so now you know what I know, which isn't a whole lot. Funny thing about me is a month from now, I'll probably have to go back and ask her again. I don't have Siri, but I wonder what she would say. I wonder how many times we could ask the same exact question to all these different AIs, and they just keep giving us a different answer. And every time it's the best answer. Now, them look like long-winded bolts to me, but they're the ones that came out of it. They go in there a good inch or more. I'd like to almost measure that. Wow. You see how long those are? Gracious, they got to be, according to the finger, they're like 1.25 inches. My finger's not a perfect measurement, but nonetheless, they are long. I don't know why. See how much sticks out? Can you guys see? I don't know if you can see. Quite a bit sticks out of there. Get you a little closer. Now, you probably still can't really get an idea, but I mean, it sticks way out. You see what I'm talking about? Probably 3/4 inch. It's what came out of there. I don't know why I'm even talking about it, because I worry about everything. No, I don't. I don't worry about it. I think about it to make a good decision. Make the best decision you can with the information you have and move along. I will not worry about it. Probably never think about it again if you know me. Until the next time I do it, no, I'll start all over. Anyhow, you guys could watch me do all these. Maybe you're not interested, but quite honestly, if I don't hurry up and do them right now, I'm going to forget. I won't tighten them all down and all that. This is for the dipstick. Kind of a big bolt for a dipstick, but whatever. Yeah, I'm not going to make any dipstick comments because it's too easy. All right, what else we got? 3 more? Let me just get the anti-seize on there, and then we're going to go look at the next thing. The lights, the front grill lights. I haven't seen those around, which kind of struck me as odd because I generally take care of my stuff pretty good. I don't lose much. And if my wife's watching, and she does, she's going to remember the time when I lost an anvil. Yes, I said it. Anvil. Anvil? See, I can't even say it right. I lost an anvil. How do you lose an anvil? I mean, the thing weighs, I can't remember how big it is. I think it's an 80 pounder. It's not like you moved it too many times or misplaced it, but I did. See, I put that dipstick bolt in too early. One of the bolts for the headers behind it. Anyway, back to my dipstick story. Back to my anvil story. I literally lost an anvil. I mean, it was good. I could not find it. I looked for it. I don't know. I don't want to say. I didn't look. Yeah, I looked hard. I looked very hard. Probably 2 or 3 different times. Ran around the barn, ran around the shop, ran around the garage. Looked at every flat surface I could think of because I didn't throw it in the dirt for crying out loud. Okay, I can tighten those later. Turns out I did put it under something and I found it. But anyhow, that's all there. The lights. We were talking about lights. See, I told you today was going to be just all over the place. So I'm going to put these lights in the grill. When I ran around, pawed through a bunch of boxes, I remember when I got the truck from Tom, it had one light in it, the badly broken one. And the other one I didn't remember ever seeing, but I did find it in a box. And believe it or not, I found both lenses. And after, I don't know, a good 30 minutes of looking around, I found the screws. Now, we're not going to use these lenses. He's going to get LEDs for these. I think they come with a new lens. If they don't, we'll still get new lenses. So then I got I got my power wrench out, and these nuts were all, they were rusted on there pretty good. See, somebody took the time to put the nuts back on. And that's a good habit to do when you take something apart. The problem is they put the nuts back on and they threw them out in the barn somewhere and they got rusty and I couldn't get the nuts off. Well, I'd rather have the nut off because then I could run a die on there. Anyhow, I just take a wrench, a little grease, and I don't care. It's just leftover grease. I paw it out of stuff, clean. And it just run it all the way down, run it all the way back. Now it'll clean off most of the grease, as you'll see. But believe me, there's some grease residue mashed down in them threads. It'll be there for a long time and keep them from corroding on there so bad. Yeah, you could put new nuts on there. Where do you stop? And then I was going to throw these in the truck, and I thought, you know what? Nobody's going to see it, but I got to clean those up and paint them. I can't just let them keep corroding like that. I mean, I guess it could, but I'm not going to. So now that we're just hanging out and talking, because then we're going to get to the next thing, I generally, when I take something apart, you guys, you've seen me, you've watched me, you've been around me. When I tear something apart, like the first disassembly of the truck, as I took things apart, you guys may or may not have been here to, or remember. If I took these parts off, well, I'll use these for example. If I took these out of that grill, normally I would take the lenses out, clean the insides, clean the sockets out, make sure the connections are good. I would have cleaned these bolts. Now, obviously I did one, so I'm admitting I didn't. But I would paint them up and I would hang these on my parts wall. And somebody might ask you, why you're doing that? You haven't got the thing tore apart yet, and you're already trying to clean up and repaint parts. Because it's more fun. While I'm taking this apart, this is all fun and new, and it's like, oh, I need to clean this up, and I'm thinking to myself, I could make that look nice. I could fix that, do this, do it now. Because if I throw this in the box and say I'm going to do it later, when it comes time for final assembly and you're getting ready to drive this truck next spring, it's already June or July, and you're like, man, I'm almost done. And you got to start painting these trinkety parts and letting them set out in the sun to dry, and you're putting them back together. Your fingers are all painted, and you got thumbprints on it, and you're like, I'm just going to get it together. You're not doing as nice a job. You're probably not enjoying it as much. And in the end, it's probably not going to have the protection once you get some of that paint off. But that's me. And even if you let it dry overnight, sometimes when you're pushing something in and you got to kind of give it a little bit of force to get it in there, you're going to smear and smudge the paint up, at least take the finish off it. The back of these wouldn't matter. I get that. But that comes to the next thing. Again, we're just hanging out today. I'm jumping around, showing you what Darren does, trying to help you enjoy your project a little more. So when the day comes that you sit back and just look at it, like there's days I come out here and I could just stand and just look at this old truck and I just enjoy it. And all its imperfections, I don't care. I feel like I put this together. I kind of built it. I mean, kind of. I didn't really like stamp the metal. But I enjoy what I've done. For me. Don't need to show it off to anybody. Oh, I didn't take you over there. But you can probably see me in the background. I'm not going to run you guys around. You get enough shop tours with me. But on my parts wall over there, you can see all my stuff. I got everything from shocks to headers, belts, it don't matter, hubcaps. But I can just come over here and grab this hood hinge, right off the wall. I painted this 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 months ago. I don't know. I spent a lot of time on this. I remember cleaning the inside of the spring and scrubbing around it and getting the rust off it and getting painted up. Now it's dusty. Getting it all painted. When I go to put this on the truck, which I could do, is this the right one? Yeah. Of course, the issue is I haven't got this painted yet. I'm going to hand brush, clean this and paint this so it'll have a nice finished look. But when I go to put this on, when that time comes, I can bolt this on and know that I'm not going to smudge the paint all up when I get the hood put together. So that's why I do my stuff way ahead of time. I know this paint is dried. I know it's cured. I'm not going to have an issue with it. Spray paint's truly soft for, weeks. Depending on the weather, maybe months. All right, enough of all that. I got more. You got time? I got time. Camera's got time. Oh, look at this. Here's another one. It's not a trick of the week, but just something to show you. If you ever open up a box of something, I don't know, you get a ceiling fan or something, and it has this foam in there. It's about, I don't know. I'm using my tape measure a lot today. 3/4 inch thick, this closed cell foam. I think it's closed cell. I don't know. It's pretty firm. Let me tell you, folks, keep these. You're going to think, I got to throw it in the trash. I don't want to burn that in the fire. I'm using up trash space. No. Put that on the floor. That thing will save your knees. Oh, I'm telling you, they're so comfy. And I have to buy it. All right, now for the tricky stuff of the day. We're just winding up on something here, all right? You're not really doing a lot. So I have to build a mount. I should grab it and show you before. You can't buy these. At least I haven't been able to find them. Boy, I don't know what I'm over here doing. Oh, yeah, I do. This is for the brake. I forget the name again. Balancing block, just proportioning valve. This is about the same thickness of metal that is in my other trucks. You can't buy this bracket that goes on here. Shockingly enough, they say you can buy every part. Far from it. One of these days I'm going to make a list. But this bracket, you have to drill 2 holes in here. Have to be precise. It's going to be easy. You can put a marker in there. But this gets mounted level. But this bolt hole they use is up here. So you kind of got to twist this over. I could take you on a shop tour and show you. Keep moving you guys around. Because that's what I'm in the process of making right now. And I wanted to show you because When I get it done, I'm just going to have it on there and it's going to be done. It'd be one of those look what I did things, and you won't see how I did it. So right in here, same deal. Balancing block. I know it's dark in here. I didn't bring my flashlight. It's over there. Yeah, I'll grab it. You guys are just going to walk around with me today. I told you we were hanging out, didn't I? Grab it. I've got my flashlight right here. All right. Take you back around. So, we got the balancing block right here. See if I can get you where you can see something. Now, this one's a touch on an angle, and I did that because these pre-bent lines, you don't want to hear me say it again, but they're never pre-bent right. But they were close enough, and it was slightly down. It makes no difference to the balancing block. This bracket, I'll show you, get it in there. I painted everything black. You know how I am. But that brass looks pretty nice. So this bracket bolts to where the master cylinder bolt uses that one side, and it kind of comes down on an angle, and then it's bent on an angle downward. So it goes through the kitty corner holes and ends up being fairly level. We got to try and copycat that with that metal that I showed you over there. So you got a good look at it? Because we're not going to keep going back and forth. I guess you could run back and forth. I probably will 10 times, but we're going to get it close the first time. Well, I talk big. We'll see how good I do. So basically, if I remember right, that was bolt. We were just over there together, so no excuses. That bolt was this way, and it was bent forward. So because my bench is this way, we're going to pretend like the vise. Yeah, I'm going to guess how far in. So this is the bolt hole up here, and we want to mount this balancing block here. You see how the bolts are at an angle? Well, unfortunately, I'm going to hit my bench when I bend that. So we're going to do this. This is not fun. I don't know what to tell you. See? I do this all the time. You guys just think about how I'm going to bend that and see if I can get this bent right. Now, I'm not drilling the holes in it first, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I've learned if I drill the holes in it and I bend it wrong, I've drilled holes in a junk piece for no reason. Why waste a drill bit of my time? I don't know the length of it, and that's not important. This length here, go off your memory. Wasn't it like 4-ish, 5-ish inches? And then this needs to be bent forward. So let's give it a whirl. Let's go at about the 5-inch mark. And we want to go forward with it. So this is mounted this way. Sorry, this way. Yeah. So forward and down, I believe, is how it is. Because if I just go straight, it's going to be in line. We want to go downward with it. So let's see if we can. Yep, we're too long. It's okay. We'll chop this off later. All right. Let's just pretend we cut it off and the bolt's up here. Again, I'm just using a spanner wrench, a one size fits all, a 16th everything, whatever name you give it. Forward and down, if I remember right. Is that going to work? Golly, it doesn't seem right. Maybe it was forward and up. I'm going to go forward and up. Yeah, I'm going to go forward and up. So forward and up. And I think I don't look right. I think I did it wrong. What do you think? Yeah, I didn't do it right. Doggone it. Was it forward and down? Forward and down would have done it. So how about this way? No, same, still wrong. I think we can fix it. Probably not. I probably ruined it. If it don't look right, I'm going to throw this away and buy another piece. This was just some scrap I had around. So there it is. This is how I do stuff. What a mess. Got to beat it on. I got to beat it on the anvil real quick, get it squared up. But that's okay. I found my anvil. I did not intentionally deal that into this show. All right, close your ears. All right, I'm back. Back to this angle, about here-ish. I can clean that rust off. So we did forward and down. If I do this twice wrong, it's going to be so embarrassing. This time I want to do forward and up, right? Yeah, we're going to try forward and up. I think my angle's too steep. Let's try that. This hand's pushing forward and this hand's coming this way for up. So let's try forward and up. Well, this is looking a little better. No, not really. I guess we're going to walk over there and find out. And you guys will see how much I've screwed this up. But it just kind of gives it that curvy look. I don't think it's right. Let's go look and I'm going to call it a day. Come down here and hammer the piece of metal flat again. I'm glad I didn't paint it. Go back over here to the 71 C10 in Spanish gold. Okay, so that don't look right at all. I did it wrong twice. I don't know what I'm doing, do I? So it looks like I went, that's not that bad. But I certainly did, I went up. I must have done it right last time. So it needs to be bent down. Boy, I swear I did that. You guys watch me. You want to watch me do it again? And now that you guys come here once a week and you think, this guy don't get much done. Some weeks I get a lot done and it's like, wow, that turned out great. Other weeks, not so much. And it's because I do this kind of garbage. All right, hammering it down. So you guys gonna, I guess, let me get it straight by hand first. If I do this wrong 3 times, yeah, you're still gonna see it. I'm not hiding nothing. Now, if I do it wrong 5 times, I'll just edit it so you don't have to see it. Yes, I know it's supposed to be on a wood block. Yep. That's all normal stuff. All right. We're back to somewhat straight. Not really. Good enough. All right. Lots of noise. I gotta see if you guys can see. I'm using the good camera, so I can't tell. All right, here we are again. So I did forward and up last time, I remember. I pushed forward and I pulled back. So if I push forward and push down, that should do it, right? Are you guys yelling at the screen because I can't hear you? All right, so if I go forward and down, I'm going to do it even though I don't think it's going to work right. But it has to. I did it the other way already. Has to be right. Has to be. Nothing has to be. Was it about a 90-ish, I think? I don't think that's quite a 90. And the pitch could be wrong. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not convinced yet, but I think we're in better shape than we were last time. Ha, no pun intended. In shape. Okay, some of you got that. We can always tweak a little more. Let's give it a look and see if I've accomplished the right goal. Could have been smoother, but I've been it 3 times, right? It's going to be good enough for what we're doing, right? Nobody's going to even notice it. Believe me. No, I didn't grab my flashlight. Okay. So now we've got this that bolts on. Hey, look at there. I got it. Just about the right pitch, too. Set that in there. Bolt it in here. I'll cut it off. And these 2 run down at an angle. I got it. That's pretty much right. Now I just need to trim the end. I'll round off all my corners. I'll drill it out, make it look pretty. I'll paint it. Yeah, I'll have 2 hours into that. And it goes on this truck. That's the last time I'm moving you, I promise. So I'm going to cut this off around them corners. Like I said, it's going to go right in here. And I'm almost level. I could actually tilt that a little more. We'll see how the block looks. It should be level, but I think that'll be out too far. See what I mean? You can kind of tweak that look, and it's going to have the right look to it. The lines are going to help support a little bit. Again, I use the same thickness metal, so that's going to work. It's going to be really close to what we're after. I'll finish this up, drill it all, get it painted up. I'll probably just point and say, look, see, I'm done, but that's going to be 2 hours from now. Ladies and gentlemen, even though YouTube says 100% gentlemen, I know better. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. I hope you had fun like I did. We're going to do this every few months. Just do a hangout. See what's going on and not really do hardcore build stuff. But I hope you had fun, had a good time. Going to get the old truck put in storage. I might do a quick video of the last run. Transmission stuff. We'll talk about that when I do it. I might, because the tires on the back are getting old. I'll have to look at the year on them, but they have a bad habit of spinning for some reason. So maybe I'll videotape that and you guys can tell me what my problem is. I hope you look forward to it. We're going to see you next week. Thanks for stopping. Thanks for coming. I promise I'll be here doing something, right or wrong. It'll get done. All right, I got to go.